Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm gonna show you guys how I edit my Instagram photos, because I think a lot of you guys are probably interested in on how I edit my Instagram photos to post them on Instagram, obviously. So I thought, let me just film a video where I show you guys which apps I use to edit my photos, and also just showing you guys what style of edit I like to go for, because obviously some people really have those beautiful aesthetically feed on Instagram, but personally I don't care about that too much. So, and the way I edit my photos, me personally, I find it like quite easy and simple, just not too much editing going on. So if you guys are interested in how I edit my Instagram photos, then just keep on watching. First, let me go through my feed. So this is how my feed currently looks like. It's mostly like, as you can see, my recent photos have quite some color, but when you like scroll down, it's more like lots of like white tones and very like neutral. As you can see, like it's mostly gray tones with a pop of color, like for example purple over here. So you can see like the photos on the bottom of my feed are like quite different compared to my recent ones, which has like more color. It wasn't like very intentionally or something, but I think it's also like pretty beautiful for the summertime to have like a bit more color in my photos. And it was also basically because I was taking a lot of photos outside. I really like to like switch up my feed sometimes with just different things, because at the bottom you can see it's mostly like selfies, but during Ramadan I actually experimented with like things like outside photos or photos of objects, and I think that's like a nice like way to it's like a nice way to like put different things in my feed and not just like my whole face the whole time in the same room and stuff. So that's basically really my feed. And now I'm just gonna show you guys my like photography folder on my phone. I actually only use the top 3 apps. I don't rarely use like the other ones. I used to use them like quite a lot like in years ago, but it's mostly the top 3 on the top. So first of all, we have Airbrush, and I use that just like put some touch-ups on my face, like not way too much or something that I look like a totally different person. But I'm just gonna show you guys how I use Airbrush in a bit. And then I have Visco, where I do like most of my edits. So that's where I do things like exposure, sharpening, saturation, stuff like that. So that's like the app that I use the most for editing my photos. And then finally we have Facetune, and that I mainly use Facetune to like whiten my background, because I really love that full white background aesthetic. And I'm also going to show you guys in a bit how I use that. And I also do like some tiny touch-ups here and there, but not like too much, like I said. So it's just like I really don't like to edit my face completely, that I'm almost like unrecognizable. And I actually never use Facetune to like slim or like adjust some things on my body or anything. I really don't use Facetune for that at all. It's just mostly to whiten the background, and also like just, you know, do some tiny touch-ups, but not too much. So that's basically the apps I use the most. So in this video I'm actually going to show you guys how I edit like 4 or 5 different photos, because as you can tell on my Instagram feed, I have like quite different types of photos that I like to make. It's mostly selfies, mirror selfies, photos like a full body, so they're either taken outside or even by someone, or they're just like taken in my room with like my self timer and stuff like that. And then also objects, like recently I put a photo on my Instagram of my new nails, and also just like sometimes I just post like other stuff with not my face on it, you know. So these are literally like the type of photos I mostly make on my Instagram. So that's why I want to show you guys how I edit these. So let's start with this one, the photo which is taken outside. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this picture, but yeah, I'm gonna just show you guys how I edited that photo. So on the bottom you have like all these filters that you can use, but I used to use them like a lot, like years ago. Like basically this year I barely use those filters. So you can do like this, or this, black and white, really anything really. So you get all the filters if you like join this paid program on Visco. And so that's why I have all the filters, because if you don't have that paid program, you don't have all these filters, just a few. But personally I don't really get why I still pay for the subscription, even though I don't even use these filters at all. But I was like, just in case I do tend to use them. So I'm just gonna keep it normal for now, so not any filter. And the touch-ups I mostly do is always like turn down the exposure. I don't like my photos to be too exposed, so I drag down the exposure a tiny bit. So as you can see, it's a tiny bit darker now because I really like that not very dark aesthetic, but like the dark, tiny bit muted aesthetic, so not like too bright. And also the major adjustment I always do is like put the square, but this photo already has the square, but most of my photos don't, so I always have to use the square button, like the 1x1, so because that's mostly the format your photos are on Instagram. And then I always like to sharpen my photos a little, because I don't know if you can, like, yeah, now you can tell the difference. Like I don't have like a set number of how I expose or sharpen things. I just do it by feeling, I guess. So I think I'm gonna just keep it at a 4. And what I also did at this photo is like no, not this one, drag down the temperature to make it a lot more cool toned. So because I found the photo quite too warm for my liking, so I dragged down the temperature so it's a lot more cool toned now. So as you can see, like I'm ticking on the photo, as you can see, it's like a tiny bit darker and a bit more blue toned, and that's what I really like. And what I also did with this one is actually add some little grain just for the like vintage effect, you know. So I don't know if you can tell right now, but I dragged it like this, and you can tell there's sort of grain on the photo. So, and I really like that. It gives like this vintage aesthetic look. I don't really know how to describe it, you know what I mean. So I just kept it at this, and I don't think I did any other like changes. Sometimes I play a little bit with the contrast, but personally no, it's not. I don't think it's necessary for this one. And with some recent photos I always like play a little bit with the saturation as well. So like, yeah, this is a bit too saturated. This one can also like be, no, I'm just gonna keep it at I think I'm gonna add a tiny bit of saturation. I don't know I cannot remember exactly how I edited this photo, but I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of saturation. So that's how I basically edited this photo. So as you can, this is like the before and this is the after. I really like how this looks. And you also have this new feature on Visco. It's like dodge and burn, so you can like darken or brighten certain areas, like for example this one. As you can see, it's like lighter now, but I'm just gonna like remove that. I only use that like occasionally if I like want to brighten the space a little bit, or if I want to darken the space a little bit, because sometimes the natural daylight outside isn't always my best friend when it comes to taking photos. So yeah, this is the before and this is the after. And what I do is I press next, and then I press it's in Dutch, but it says this, I'm gonna save it in my camera folder. And you also have this feature that you can post it on Visco, but I never post on Visco, so I'm just gonna do save in camera roll, and then it's like over here with all my other photos I edited. So yeah, so that's basically how I edited that photo. I didn't use like Airbrush or anything after that. For that photo I only used Visco. So yeah, right now we're on Airbrush, and I'm going to show you guys how I edit this selfie. So I have this one. So this one is a photo that I just took earlier. So I pressed the magic tool, and as you can see, it made some tiny changes, not like major. So this is the before and this is the after. As you can tell, it like smoothened my face a bit more, and also like made my eyes a tiny bit bigger. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it made my eyes a tiny bit bigger. And here you have all the features that you can use for that magic tool. So obviously you have the smooth filter, and I can like drag it or drag it down how much I want to. So I think I'm gonna keep it at this, like 37. And then you have these like premium features like face width, chin, nose size, lip size, but I don't have the premium subscription of Airbrush, and I don't think I'm gonna use it at all. So, and then also the acne tool is on. So like, I don't have any acne on my face at the moment. Well, obviously since I'm wearing makeup you cannot see it, but I always have it turned on anyway, just in case. And then the dark circle feature. Oh, it made a tiny bit of difference. I don't know if you can tell. Now right now it's off, and now it's on. Like, I like to keep that as well. So why not? And then you also have the whiten tool that makes your teeth a bit brighter. And yes, and this is the brighten tool I was talking about, so it like brightened my eyes a little bit, and I like how it looks. And then you have also things like tint, skin tone, but I don't use those. And then yes, the enlarge feature I was talking about for the eyes. I like my eyes to be a tiny bit bigger, so that's why I keep that on. And then you also have the slim feature, which I actually never use, but before, when I gained a little bit of weight, I actually did use the slim feature, but when I use it right now, it just looks too weird. Like, look, just looks way too weird. So I turn off the slim feature. So that's how it looks. So this is the before and this is the after, but like I said, it's not major changes or anything. It's mostly like, as you can tell, I have some like lines on my forehead and also like over here as well. And then magic tool, it's like gone. So yeah, I'm now gonna save it to my camera roll, and now I'm actually gonna take it to VSCO. Now I'm gonna take it to VSCO, and we have this photo over here which we just edited in Airbrush. Like I mentioned before, I actually don't like to use the filters that are on here at the moment, because I don't know, with the style I'm currently going for on my Instagram, I don't find it necessary. So I'm gonna go to the other tools now, which I do use. So first of all, I'm gonna go to the adjusting tool to just like adjust like the size of the photo, so we make it square so it fits for Instagram. Yeah, we cropped it, and then we're gonna like adjust the exposure tiny bit, like maybe like this. Yes, 1.2. And then also like sharpen. These are like my top 3 I always use on VSCO. So yes, I'm gonna drag it down to like this, I believe. Like I basically go with like a feeling. I don't have like a set preset or something. I just do what currently like what I think I want to do. So nah, this is too. I think I'm pretty content with how this photo now looks. We only like cropped the photo, dragged down the exposure, and also sharpened it. So basically that's everything we did. So this is the before and this is the after. Like, as you can tell, not any major edits. So I'm just gonna save it to my camera roll. And then we're gonna take this to Facetune. Right now I've opened it in Facetune. So first I'm gonna take the whiten tool, like with the one with the brush over here. And then I'm just gonna like drag it to whiten the background. And I really love doing it, and I actually always do that whenever I take photos in my room. There's actually one photo on my Instagram feed where I forgot to do the whitening tool, so maybe if you like look closely you can spot which photo it is, but I didn't feel like taking down a photo and I re-edit it again and then upload. I don't know why, I just forgot or just like pressed the wrong concept. So as you can see, like I'm just doing it on my white walls and on my ceiling. I also have this chandelier lamp, but I don't want to whiten that, or else I don't want to have like a total black and white background, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna like whiten it like around it, and you can also like zoom in. I'm just gonna do it like this, I don't know really. And like also you have this erase tool if you made a mistake. Like for example, I see that I accidentally whitened this piece of hair, so I'm just gonna like drag it down with the eraser tool. Yes, that's better. So this is the before and this is the after. As you can see, like it's definitely made a huge difference. So, and then for example, I also like to use the details tool. So just like I basically do it like around my jewelry, just like to make them pop on a little more, and also like on my eyes I like to use that. Yes, so as you can see, like definitely brighten my eyes a lot more, so I like that to do that as well. And I also have the smoothing tool, so if there are like some places I want to smooth a little bit more, like for example over here. I don't like to smooth my face too much or else it just looks way too unnatural. Like also on my nose a tiny bit, maybe like here. Yeah, I didn't do like very much, but I just like to smoothen a tiny bit. So that's that. And what I also like to do sometimes is use the tones feature, and I use that to like maybe touch up some little things, or like for example over here I always use it at my lashes to like cover up the gap between my real lashes and my false lashes. So for example, I use these natural lashes today. Now I put on some eyeliner, but when I took those pictures. That was before I applied eyeliner to touch it up. So as you can see, there are like tiny gaps between there, so I want to like cover those up. And to make it like a lot more natural, I pick a color from my false lashes, so which is already on there. So I pick the picker tool, and then I go with tones, and then just like, and I always make sure to be very zoomed in, or else like it just looks too much like you touched it up. So if like zoom in very well and just apply those adjustments, then it looks a lot more natural when you zoom out. For example, over here, you can also like use some like the before and this is the after. So as you can see, like those gaps are really covered up. And I'm also going to do that the same with the other eye. And this is the complete before and this is the complete after. So as you can see, it's like quite different compared to what it used to look like, but it's not like very majorly heavily edited, which I like. So I'm gonna save this to camera roll. So that's basically how I edit my selfies. So another photo we're gonna do is probably this mirror selfie, because mirror selfies are also like photos I like to quite take. One, we skipped the airbrush because since like since my face like quite far away from the camera, I don't feel like we need to use airbrush. So basically we're just gonna do again as with the selfie, just crop it just to make it like Instagram size. Adjust the exposure a little, sharpen a little bit. Is there anything else we want to do? Probably add some grain. Yeah, some grain is nice as well, so let's just keep that. So I also like use the highlight tools like to completely like sort of muten the photos as well. So are we gonna do this? That's fine, let's just do this. So that's how I edited this mirror selfie. So I'm just gonna save it to my camera roll, and then I'm gonna take it to Facetune, and basically over there once again whiten my background. So I do it like on my closet, which is obviously white, and also on my wall on the back, but don't like anything else like my bed or the floor or something, because like I said, I really don't want that black and white background. I'm basically like using it on the wall, on my closet, and then also like over here at the side where you can see some bit of the wall. And sometimes, and especially with like outside photos, if they're like too much on the background that I don't want to have in there, then I'm also going to use the defocus tool over here. So then for example, I can like blur this, for example, like the bed or the plushie. When I take like mirror selfies, I actually almost never like blur my background, but maybe we can also do that. And also, like, just like with the whitening tool, if you make a mistake you can erase it. So yeah, because I don't want to accidentally blur a tiny bit of me. So it's like a sudden blur, as you can tell, so it's not like very like too much like a blur. Well, I actually use the defocus tool because you also have this blur tool over here, so you can like completely like blur out things. But we're not gonna do that, so let's just erase that. We're not gonna blur anything. Personally, I find the blur filter a bit too strong on here, but sometimes it is necessary, especially if you have a lot of like things when you take photos outside and there's too much in the background, you can blur that. So we just defocused my bed on the background, so that's fine. So this is basically the photo done, so I'm gonna save it to my camera roll. So that's basically how I edit my mirror selfies. And I want to show you guys this another one where it's like photos of me on the background, but it's basically the same like thing really. So just adjust the exposure, change the shape, sharpen a little. Like I don't use airbrush for these like far away photos because, well, sometimes I do, but like personally for this one I don't find it necessary. Obviously whiten the background again because I like to have my backgrounds white. And then lastly, I'm gonna show you guys like my object photos, just like things like my nails or just like other stuff. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I edited my nail photo. I posted it on Instagram yesterday, so you can like see, but I'm just gonna show you guys how I edited this one. So obviously, first of all, crop it to the square shape, and then I don't think I did too many crazy edits on this one. Maybe like tone down the exposure a little bit. Obviously I didn't want to change much because obviously I want to show you the true colors of my nails. So I'm just like tiny bit drag down the exposure, and then also like sharpen it obviously, then saved it to camera roll. Obviously I whitened the background, and that's I think basically all the edits I did on this photo. So yeah, that's basically how I edit my Instagram photos. I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe this video brought you some tips on how you can like edit your Instagram photos, and maybe also give some inspiration for like apps to use and like for what kind of aesthetics to go, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time in a new video. Bye bye.